Hello and welcome once again to the Joint Venture Insider Show. We have a guest today, Jay Fairbrother, profit architect, will be joining us in a couple minutes talking about his experience with joint ventures. But first, let's tell you about some things that are coming up. So we've got, push the button here. Of course, as always, we are sponsored by the Joint Venture Insider Circle. So thank you to them for helping us put this together and spread the word of the show. Coming up, we have my very own summit, the EntrepreNERD Summit, Episode 5, The Summit Strikes Back. That is coming up this coming Monday, September 19th. There's links in the show notes, as always, for how to get in there, but you can get your tickets for free at guidance.com/EN, and you can still be an affiliate as well. So if you think your audience might be interested in this, certainly do sign up to be an affiliate and spread the word. I like to make things that are interesting and unique. So there's a lot of summits out there with all kinds of generic business information, and they're all good. You know, they've all got good information, but I figure if you're going to get that information, you must have some fun doing it. Also coming up is the What's Next for Me retreat by Destination Harmony. This is being run by Fabienne Marneau at a retreat in San Clemente, California. There is a 40% commission for people you send out per way, and this is great for people who are looking to find an easier path for manifestation, the next chapter of their lives. Also coming up from Think Virtues, the Empowering Parents program. Think Virtues is great concepts about empowering kids ages 3 to 25. If you're a parent, you're going through this process and you're like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? I don't know. You don't find out till it's too late. So this is a very powerful program, and I encourage you to check it out. And if your audience is parents, a lot of entrepreneurs are parents, they may be interested in being a part of this. Igor Keifets, Listbuilding Lifestyle program. So his is interesting. It's not a certain time. There's not a certain launch date. He has a live webinar that can be customized to reach your audience and be targeted to them. So it's a great concept. It basically teaches people how to build their list and make money with affiliate marketing. Not so much in the space we are finding partners, but more of like going to ClickBank and some of those tools that have affiliate programs to plug into that. So it's a little bit more, automated and more accessible to a lot of people trying to get a business going, build that list, generate some revenue. It can be very powerful if your audience is people who are looking to build a business in general and figure out what their first steps are. And then, of course, we have the powerful Introvert program with Lorraine Ellen Scott. That program's coming up in October. It's coming up soon. And the powerful Introvert program is great for if your audience contains introverts, which it probably does. A lot of people out there are introverts, and they're trying to figure out how do I get out there. There's a lot of networking advice, a lot of resources for them are extrovert focused. Go to an event and talk to everybody. Hand out 100 business cards, which introverts hear that and have a little panic attack. So Lorraine Ellen Scott's program is fantastic. Teaches introverts how to harness their powers, their superpowers, and achieve some great success from that. And then, of course, Collabs by Jess Kotzer is coming up. In January, and she's looking for affiliates now. So got some great stuff coming up here. And if you have promos, if you'd like to promote, go to guywhoknowsaguy.com/JVIS promo. Please do fill out the form completely, because if you fill it out completely, you will find yourself on the show. And if you don't fill it out completely, you'll find yourself with a very polite email from my assistant asking you to fill it out completely. Because we do want to share what's going on, but we need all the information to do that. And now it is time for our interview.
And now,
hello, Jay, and welcome to the show.
Hey, Michael. You just gave me a new aspiration, which is to be on one of those slides at the beginning of your show promoting my stuff. So thank you.
There we go. I believe you've been on a slide earlier. I think your program was in one of our first episode slides.
I didn't know. Thank you very much.
I think we did. I don't know, but we can always take more. and part of the idea of the show, of course, is sharing what's working, what's new, different people's strategies. A lot of people, they're just kind of doing like, oh, just do what I do. And someone else might hear that and say, oh, I never thought about that. That's amazing. And you're just like, that's what works. What else would I do? So that's why we're having both sharing the programs to get to partner with, and then, of course, having you on the show to share what's working for you in joint ventures so that people might learn from that. So first, tell us a little about yourself and what your business is and how you use joint ventures.
So thank you, Michael. I'm glad to be here. I'm a serial entrepreneur for the last 35 years. So I've founded, bought, and sold multiple seven-figure businesses. I was in this space of online coaching about 15 years ago, and I was actually fairly successful and had programs that did well and a lot of affiliates and JVs and a fairly big list. And I, for personal reasons, just completely went away from this industry or this online world and focused on brick and mortar businesses. And so I've only come back in the last couple of years, and it's a relearning curve, literally. I can tell you stories of the first couple of programs that I launched, and they didn't convert well, and I'm just like scratching my head, going, I don't understand. I'm doing the same thing I did 15 years ago that worked. So there, things are evolving and changing always. And so to answer your question, what I've done the last couple of years since I'm back in the game is I do sales coaching for coaches looking to have high-end selling conversations to get those high-end clients. It's something that most coaches hate doing or terrified of. And I try to teach how to sell, not using the corporate selling techniques and the sort of male-dominated win-lose culture that is typical in sales training. So I do that, and then I also have a pricing for profits masterclass and an irresistible offers workshop that I spun out of that. That's been very successful. And my new thing that I'm working on and hope to be on a slide on your show soon. I'm developing a program for coaches who want to launch a group coaching or mastermind program. And what I mean by that is, most people have courses. There's some component of group coaching involved, but a course is typically shorter term, 6, 8, 12 weeks. And I'm working on people who want to get people into the higher end programs that, a group coaching program that might be 3 to 6 months long, or a mastermind that might be 6 to 12 months long. And I have over 25 years of experience being in peer masterminds, running peer masterminds, facilitating them. And there's a lot that I want to bring to this world along those lines.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. And that sounds valuable too, because, those longer term programs are more stable for your business. So if somebody's in a 12-month program that they're paying monthly on, then you know what your revenues are for 12 months, at least for that chunk of it, versus if you're selling a one shot, give me $9.97 today, and then you got to do another launch to get another chunk of money and hope for the best. So I can certainly see the value in that.
One of the ways that I, sort of paint the picture is that I would rather have 9 people who are irrationally loyal to me because I've cultivated them, through something else that I'm doing or coaching or whatever, but, they don't know, like, and trust me. They know, love, and trust me. I would rather have 9 of them paying me $1,000 a month to be in a high touch mastermind group that's going to, really explode their business as opposed to, this sort of hit and miss, this program, that program. There's 6 figures in income right there with 9 people. So yeah,
that's a great. Great model and certainly one people can learn from. So I'm curious about you said you saw differences between what you used to do 15 years ago and what the way things worked when you came back. So what were some of the differences you observed from the way it was back in the old days to how it is now in the future we live in?
Well, so I guess the encouraging part is that I think in the old days, to get into the JV and affiliate circles, it was kind of like an old boys club. And I don't mean because they were old men, I'm just using that expression. But it was hard to break in to those circles. and it obviously the elite higher levels, the people with 50,000 and higher lists, it's still hard to get into those circles. But I see a lot more receptivity for new people coming in to be able to make those relationships and that kind of thing. And I think so. Most of the perspective that I would share in terms of somebody looking for tips to get affiliates and JVs right now is that you can do it even if you don't have a list or a small list. And to me, one of the keys, as it should be with your coaching and everything else you do, but it's just being authentic and transparent. So don't show up at a JV collaboration call and pretend that you've got more than what you have, or pretend you're further along in the process. Just be honest and upfront, transparent, and make a relationship first, because there are people out there willing to help newbies who cannot necessarily reciprocate at the moment. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's really, if I had a message is, don't be afraid to go out there. You might not get everywhere on every call. Some people just aren't in that position. I know certain, JVs that's like, look, if we can't make X dollars off promoting you, sorry, we might like you, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
But there are other people who are like, look, anything you could do to help me would be great. When I get bigger, I'll be happy to reciprocate, or here's, in the meantime, how I can reciprocate other than, mailing to my list. Mm-hmm. It's just being real and it's sometimes asking people for a favor.
Yeah, that's great. And it's also, I think, important to realize the value of the 500,000, 2,000 person, not the 500,000 person list, the 500, 2,000, 1,000 or 2,000 person list, because they tend to be more engaged. That's usually the level where the list owner knows the people on the list. It's not just someone they picked up in a summit or a giveaway. It's often people actually know this person and want to follow them. So when they refer, they might be able to bring 7 people to an event, but 2 of them might buy, versus someone else might be able to bring 70 to the event and they're there for the freebies and off they go.
Totally agree. And when I'm working with new people with newer lists that have been built, I always will ask that question: is how was the list built? And it's not because I'm passing judgment on it. It's because, as you just mentioned, if you build your list only from summits, gift giveaways, and lead magnets, those are all the freebie takers. They're not necessarily buyers. And there is a huge difference. I mean, yeah. I would much rather work with a person who has a list of 300 buyers than I would want to work with a person who's got 1,500 emails from only, summits and lead gift giveaways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what have you found to be effective? What structures of joint ventures are you doing? Are you doing like webinars? You're doing summits? You're doing joint events?
Yeah, I mean, I have been out there just asking people to promote my workshop, webinar kinds of programs for the most part, because I don't have my own show. If you have a show, that's obviously a way you can reciprocate. Mm-hmm. I'm obviously offering to promote them in return, but again, not trying to paint myself that I've got this big list and can do that. So again, I think it's just a matter of being realistic. And one of the things one of the things I can address too is that the more experienced JVs understand the math. So like when I went out with my first couple promotions, in fact, Michael, I think you actually helped promote one of my first things, and I don't think you got any conversions. And I'm sorry.
Yes.
I wish you would have. But when I was first starting out, and I'm kind of addressing these comments to more of the people starting out, I was terrified. Like I was afraid to, circle back to you, because I'm like, oh my God, Michael's going to hate me. He got no conversions. And the more you start to deal with the more experienced JVs and that kind of thing, they recognize that, it's a numbers game at some level. And even with a well converting product, their audience they sent might not have converted for that particular thing. It doesn't mean they're not going to be willing to work with you again. Mm-hmm. But if that happens, don't run and hide under the covers. just maintain the relationship. I think that's really the main thing is just don't let the relationship go stale, especially if they help promote you and didn't get an immediate return, because you want them there for the next time.
Well, and I have promoted many, many, many partners. I've gotten conversions and commissions out of far fewer than many partners. So when I do it, I'm not necessarily making the promotion. And of course, I don't myself have a huge list. But when I do make the promotion, it's more about relationship building. It's about, I know Jay, I like what he's doing. He's got a good message. I'm going to help share it out. And the most important thing, and this is something to think about with how you're using your list, is I want to promote people that are of value to my audience. So there's people in my audience who are telling me things like, I don't know how to price my program, and I don't know how to position myself. Oh, well, Jay's got a program you might be interested in. Check this out, guys. So if somebody goes to your webinar and they learn something and don't buy anything, I've still gotten something from that in that they have presumably, nobody emailed me and said, that was a waste of my time. So as long as that didn't happen, then it's a positive experience. But I've probably gotten actual commission payouts from 5% of the partners I've promoted. So again, to the new people out in the audience, you get 20 partners to promote something for you, and you pay out to 2 of them, and you're like, oh my God, these 18 people are going to hate me.
Right.
They don't, especially if you then go back to them and say, thank you so much. I got 37 opt-ins from you. Looks like we didn't convert any of them, but I think we're able to give them some good value. And if I've got the freebie takers in my audience, then I still want to make them happy, even if they're not giving anyone any money. They still might refer someone to my podcast. They might refer someone other ways. So even though I can refer a non-buyer to your workshop, they learn something, they're happy, they're glad I sent them, and maybe they refer someone to my podcast, so they get on my list. And that's fine, because that's just one more. It's not all about who puts down the credit card and money flies out. There's more ways that value is created than just the payouts.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing is just, make it stupid easy for people to be your affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
And I, to me, the best strategy is to watch some of the big launch people, because some of those are literally a master class on how to do a launch as an affiliate. In other words, sign up to be their affiliate. If nothing else, but to watch what they do and what they provide you and the sequence and everything. I know JVIC is a great example. Amana Guy is a great example. The Miracy people are they run flawless launches. And you can learn so much just by watching some of these big launches and looking at exactly what they're doing.
Yep. We're actually going to have Danny Vermont, who's Miracy's JV manager, coming on next week after, very soon. So keep watching, because we're going to have him on. That's going to be very excited to be talking to him.
Danny is awesome, and I'll tune in for that show for sure.
Yeah, that'll be a great one. So speaking of guests, if you are watching this and you are saying, I know some things about JVs and might want to be a guest, then you can go to guywhoknowsaguy.com/JVIS guest. That's JVIS as in Joint Venture Insider Show guest. And there's a link to that in the description. Jay, thank you so much for being on. We're definitely going to have you back on when you have something coming up that you can talk about. You have a live program coming, but I'm really glad you came in. We actually, as I was telling you, we had someone who was signed up for today, and then yesterday messaged me and said, oh, after I signed up, something came up, but I can't get out of it. So Jay, thanks for jumping in. So it's not just me talking to myself. It's been great conversation.
Happy to pinch hit. Thanks for having me.
All right. Thank you. And thank you, everyone else. Remember, this show is every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And of course, you can find it on all kinds of platforms. Wherever you're watching it now, you can find the replay as well. So thanks for watching.